This is definitely one of the gems of the sale.
Let's see the 68.
Actually, these cars do look cool. And we have the keys, which is awesome and unusual.
So I got something cool for you.
When Fast and Loud ended, everyone thought they'd seen it all until Dennis Collins opened his garage. What he had inside it shocked even the biggest followers. Rare cars, wild stories, and passion in every corner. You won't believe what's inside. Join us as we unveil the details. Inside Dennis Collins' garage. Dennis Collins is known for his role on Fast and Loud, where he teamed up with Richard Rawlings to find and flip rare cars. His deep knowledge, sharp eye, and love for classics made him a fan favorite. Even after the show ended, Collins continued building his legacy in the car world. Just after Fast and Loud came to an end, people assumed Dennis Collins would slow down. But that didn't happen. Instead, something surprising was waiting behind the closed doors of his garage. It wasn't just a few classic cars, it was a deep obsession. What they found was a man on a mission to rescue some of the rarest cars ever built, cars most folks have never even heard of. The Nash Healey. These beauties were born in the early 1950s, right in the golden age of American car manufacturing. At that time, everyone was excited about speed, design, and bold ideas. The Nash Healey was a bold idea, all right. It was part American, part British, and had a touch of Italian flair. But what shocked everyone the most wasn't just that Collins owned some of these rare vehicles. It was that he was searching for every single one still in existence. And get this, he wants them lifeless or alive. That's not just a catchy phrase. From the year 1950 to 1954, if a Nash Healey is sitting somewhere, whether it runs or is rusting in a field, Collins wants it. But come to think of it, what makes the Nash Healey so rare? After the Second World Conflict, the United States was booming. People had money, dreams, and a hunger for something new. Cars were changing. The Nash Healey came out of a strange but brilliant partnership. Nash Motors from America joined forces with British car maker Donald Healey. Then, to top it all off, the famous Pininfarina studio in Italy gave it a slick body design. This strange mix made something wonderful, a luxury sports car that felt European yet ran with American strength. But it came with a price. It was expensive to build, and few people could afford one. By the time production stopped in 1954, fewer than 510 were made. Today, finding one is like spotting a unicorn. Many have disappeared, and the ones that remain are scattered, often hidden in barns, garages, or scrapyards. That's why Collins isn't just collecting, he's saving them. All of these, not just the perfect ones, were present in his garage. Some were beaten up, covered in dust, and stripped down to their frames. Others had been fully restored and looked like they had just rolled off the line. What shocked people wasn't just the collection, it was the dedication. This wasn't a casual hobby. Collins wasn't just storing cars, he was preserving history. Each Nash Healey had its past, and Collins seemed determined to learn every detail. And he doesn't care about the condition. He made it clear that he'll take one in any shape, because every piece helps rebuild the legacy. Well, Collins didn't stop at collecting. He went even further. He created a Nash Healey registry, a full list of all the known cars left on the planet. It's more than a hobby, it's a rescue operation. With this registry, Collins hopes to bring these forgotten cars back into the light. He wants to know where they are, who owns them, and what shape they're in. It's like building a family tree for a vanishing species, but he's not just asking for finished cars, he's also searching for parts. Every bolt, every fender, every little trim piece could help save another vehicle. Got something Nash Healey related? Collins is probably interested. His team buys everything because they believe no piece should go to waste. Many people were surprised at his passion for these cars. People expected Collins to go after flashy stuff after the show ended. Camaro builds, rare Mustangs, maybe a Ferrari or two. What they didn't expect was this deep passion for an almost forgotten car. And he didn't just pick the easy path. Finding a Nash Healey isn't simple. It takes time, travel, phone calls, tips, and a whole lot of digging. Yet Collins made it his mission, and now he's gathering every last trace of these cars before they disappear completely. Some thought he'd slow down, but they were wrong. Behind those garage doors was a bold new chapter, one that's all about remembering the past, even if it's buried under rust and weeds. Dennis Collins's garage wasn't just a garage. It was a vault packed with surprises, history, horsepower, and heart. But it wasn't just rare cars catching his eye. Alongside the Nash Healeys, another deep passion stood tall, his lifelong love for another kind of vehicle. The very vehicles that first launched his journey back in the 80s. Dennis Collins' beat-up Jeeps. Let's get one thing straight. Dennis Collins was never just a sidekick on Fast and Loud. He's been in the car game long before cameras showed up and long after they stopped rolling. One thing was clear in all these: this wasn't just a storage place. This was Collins' personal museum, workshop, and temple of speed all wrapped into one. And leading the charge, Jeeps. While the world may know Dennis for Mustangs and Camaros, the heart of his operation beats Jeep green. His love for the off-road legends goes all the way back to 1984. That's when Dennis and his brother Jamie first dipped their toes into the business. Two young guys, a couple of beat-up Jeeps, and one big dream. They started rebuilding them from the ground up, turning scrap into gold, and the garage proves it. Tucked inside this mechanical paradise are rows of restored Jeeps from nearly every decade. From Army-issue Willys to beefed-up trail monsters, the collection tells a story. A story of zeal, strength, and never letting go of your roots. And that's just the beginning. If you thought Dennis only had Jeeps parked in there, think again. The man has taste. Bold, loud taste. One of the biggest surprises waiting in that garage was a pristine 1967 Chevrolet. Not just any model either. This beauty was showroom fresh, straight down to the redline tires. And just a few steps away, a jaw-dropping 2018 Black Mountain Jeep. It's sleek, it's black, it's mean. And yes, it's one of Collins's proudest builds. But here's the thing, Dennis isn't keeping all this horsepower hidden away. He drives these machines, he shows them, he brings them out to local car meets like the Heights Car Show in Richardson, Texas. That's right, while other collectors might keep their cars locked away like museum pieces, Dennis hits the road with his rides. And he doesn't just pull up quietly either. When Collins rolls in, heads turn. At one of these events, Collins made a splash by showing off that same '67 Chevy and the 2018 Jeep side by side. That's decades of car evolution, standing proud under the Texas sun. And it's not just flash, it's a message. Dennis isn't stuck in the past. He celebrates it while keeping pace with what's hot right now. Exotic cars? Check. Four-wheel drives? Double check. Now let's talk about that garage again. What makes it so special isn't just the cars, it's the layout. Every corner is thought through. Tools are lined up like soldiers, spotless. Custom lifts raise rare rides like works of art. There's no clutter, no chaos, just pure car lover heaven. It feels less like a workshop and more like walking through Dennis's mind, organized, focused, and deeply in love with everything lined up. And what really shocks visitors the most? It's how personal everything is. Each car comes with a story, not just its factory stats or horsepower numbers, but real stories. Collins can tell you where he found it, who owned it, how long it sat in a barn, and what it took to bring it back to life. These aren't just machines to him, they're memories on wheels. People are also shocked by the range of vehicles. You'll find everything from first-generation Mustangs to high-performance Dodge Challengers. There's even a handful of European curveballs thrown in just for good measure. It's not about loyalty to one brand. It's about loving anything fast, unique, and built with soul. And let's not forget the motorcycles. Oh yes, there's a separate corner just for bikes. From vintage Harleys to custom choppers, it's like another mini collection within the collection. And just like the cars, each one is fully functional and kept in top shape. Dennis doesn't believe in just for show. If it's in the garage, it better be ready to roll. Now, if you're wondering how he manages all this, it's simple: passion. Dennis Collins lives and breathes cars. The show ending didn't slow him down. If anything, it gave him more time to focus on what he really loves: finding rare gems, restoring them to glory, and sharing them with fellow car lovers. Even more surprising, there's no gatekeeping. Dennis regularly posts videos from the garage. He lets fans in on the process, from buying the car to the final polish. It's all there, raw, honest, and totally transparent. You feel like you're in the passenger seat the whole time, and people love it. In a world where many collectors keep their secrets close, Collins is an open book. One fan summed it up perfectly. Walking into Dennis's garage is like stepping into a time machine, one that's been tuned, detailed, and is ready to burn rubber. It's this connection with people that keeps his garage from being just a rich guy's toy box. There's heart in there, purpose, history, and maybe a little bit of Texas dust, just the way he likes it. The end of Fast and Loud might have closed a chapter, but what's inside Dennis Collins's garage proves the story is far from over. If anything, it's just getting good. Because while TV shows come and go, true passion never fades. And in this case, it's got 4 wheels, a growl under the hood, and Dennis Collins behind the wheel. Dennis Collins. Life after Fast and Loud. Dennis didn't just keep moving, he shifted gears, hit the gas, and showed everyone that his love for cars isn't for show. It's real, it's deep, and it's still burning strong. Let's start with where you're most likely to spot him these days, out in the open, surrounded by chrome and horsepower. That's right, Dennis Collins is not one to hide in a garage. He's out there, attending car shows, meeting fans, and showing off some of the cleanest rides around. One event that continues to prove this is the Heights Car Show. It happens at the Heights Baptist Church in Richardson, Texas, and yes, Dennis Collins shows up in style. In one of his Facebook videos, Dennis pulled up with a lineup that stopped everyone in their tracks. He brought a stunning 1967 Chevrolet and a jaw-dropping 2018 Black Mountain Jeep. You could feel the crowd's excitement. These weren't just average show cars. They were living proof that Dennis hasn't lost a single step since his Fast and Loud days. What makes it even better is how in touch he still is with what's trending in the car world. A lot of old-school collectors distance themselves from newer trends, but not Dennis. He stays fresh. That car show promised exotic rides, and for the first time, 4-wheel drives, something Dennis knows a lot about. And while others talk about staying relevant, he doesn't. He's there, smiling, talking shop, and showing love to both classics and the new wave. But what really keeps Dennis ahead of the game isn't just showing up. It's the empire he's built behind the scenes. His heart and hands stay busy at Collins Bros Jeep, the company he founded way back in 1984. That's decades of turning his passion for Jeeps into one of the most respected names in the industry. It all started with Dennis and his brother Jaime working on a few Jeeps and flipping them for a little cash. But like everything Dennis touches, it grew fast. Today, Collins Bros Jeep isn't just about selling used Jeeps. It's a powerhouse that specializes in parts, accessories, and custom builds. If you've got a Jeep, chances are they've got exactly what you need to make it stronger, faster, and cooler. And here's where it gets really interesting. In 2007, Dennis took the next big step and launched his own line of parts called BLKMTN, short for Black Mountain. This wasn't just another brand thrown together for marketing. These are carefully crafted accessories designed for serious off-roading and next-level performance. People who buy from Black Mountain know they're getting the real deal, quality that comes from a man who's lived and breathed Jeep life for decades. It's also worth mentioning that Collins Bros Jeep is still based in Texas, the very place Dennis calls home. That's not just convenient, it's meaningful. Texas is where he grew up, where he went to college, and where he earned his bachelor's degree in economics and finance. You better believe he's putting that education to good use. Managing an auto empire takes brains, and Dennis has plenty of that under the hood, too. But hold on, there's another side to this gearhead story that often gets overlooked. It's not all about Jeeps. Dennis Collins is a true collector, and his love for Mustangs runs just as deep. One of the more surprising things he's known for? SN 95 Mustangs. Now let's be honest, these Mustangs aren't exactly the ones people line up for at classic car shows. They didn't win the hearts of collectors like the legendary Fastbacks or the Boss models, but guess what? Dennis still made money on them. Big money. How? It's all in the details. As he explained in an interview with Universe, even a less popular car can sell for a high price if you treat it right. That means keeping every bit of documentation, and that means keeping the car looking like it just rolled off the lot. It sounds simple, but it takes discipline, and Dennis has that in him fully. He's not just buying cars, he's preserving them, and that's a lesson every aspiring collector needs to hear. You don't need to chase the rarest cars in the world to make a mark in this business. Sometimes all it takes is picking the right car at the right time and taking really good care of it. That's the kind of stuff that separates Dennis from the pack. He's not chasing clout. He's not buying cars just to post them online. He's in this because he loves it, the engines, the history, the beauty of the hunt, and yes, even the paperwork. And speaking of paperwork, Collins Bros Jeep isn't just a parts and rebuild shop. It's a full-blown operation with customer service, logistics, and a deep inventory. Walk in there and you're not just seeing grease and gears, you're seeing a business that runs like a well-oiled machine. That kind of success doesn't happen overnight. It's decades of showing up, learning, and putting in the work. Dennis makes it look easy, but behind every car is a grind that never stops. Even more impressive, he still finds time to share all this with fans. From YouTube videos to Instagram updates, Dennis brings people into his world. He shows them what he's working on, what deals he's chasing, and what's next on his plan. And it's not staged. It's not polished to the point of being fake. It's Dennis, just being Dennis, honest, passionate, and always surrounded by horsepower. That's why what he does still surprises people. Because most folks fade away after the spotlight goes out. Not Dennis. The man is just as loud, just as fast, and just as driven as ever. Maybe even more. There's a real lesson in all of this. Dennis Collins didn't need a TV show to stay relevant. The cameras didn't make him. They just followed him while he did what he's always done. And today, long after Fast and Loud ended, he's still proving that being true to your passion, whether it's restoring Jeeps, showing off Mustangs, or simply rolling into a car show with a smile, never goes out of style. So the next time you see that familiar face at a car meet, don't be surprised. Dennis Collins isn't showing off. He's just living the dream. And somehow still managing to surprise us all. There's no doubt that there are car collectors, and then there's Dennis Collins. What sets him apart isn't just the size of his collection or the shine of his engines, but the stories behind each car. Some cars he keeps, others he lets go. But with every sale, every restoration, and every show, Collins keeps surprising the auto world. Take his long-running love affair with Austin Healey's. It's more than just a hobby. It's an obsession. In fact, even Collins himself admits that he's lost track of how many he's owned. In an interview with Universe, he laughed as he said, "I've owned them all." From the classic 104s and 106s to the beautiful 3000 series, Healey's have come and gone through his hands like candy at a car meet. At first, he tried keeping count. He had records, files, photos, everything in place. But then it just got out of hand. When it got to the point where I documented owning 500 of them, I just stopped counting, he admitted. Imagine that, 500 Healys. Most collectors dream of owning one. Collins had more than some car museums. That kind of track record is not just rare, it's legendary. But his love for British classics isn't the only thing that's made headlines. Dennis Collins also knows how to make waves at car auctions. One Mustang in particular grabbed a lot of attention, and for good reason. It was a special 1997 7-Up Mustang, and this wasn't just any limited edition ride. It had a backstory as cool as the color on its paint job. The car was originally owned by a Ford executive. According to Collins, it was picked up straight from the factory and taken directly to the exec's home. It never even touched a dealership. That makes it incredibly rare. But what really makes this car famous is how it was originally tied to a promotional NBA stunt where lucky fans could win it by sinking a half-court shot during a game. Few cars come with that kind of origin story. When Collins brought that Mustang to auction, people were curious to see what it would fetch. It ended up selling for a shocking $82,500. Yes, for a Fox body. That's how clean and rare the car was. And that's the magic of Dennis Collins. He knows how to spot value long before the rest of the world catches on. But he didn't stop at just one sale. Around the same time, Collins broke a world record at Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale by selling 6 Mustangs out of a group of 8. These weren't your average used cars. These were some of the rarest Fox body Mustangs on the planet. And just like the 7-Up edition, most of them had extremely low mileage. That attention to detail and his commitment to preserving every single car he buys is what keeps his name ringing across auction floors. Then there was the Nash Healey. Specifically, the Nash Healey with chassis number N2001, believed to be the first of its kind. Collins spent a huge amount of time restoring it, piece by piece. He didn't cut corners. Everything was done with care and accuracy. When it finally went to the Worldwide Auctioneers event in May of 2013, it sold for a massive $500,000. That alone would make most collectors smile for life. But the story didn't end there. By the time Hooniverse sat down with him again, that same Nash Healey had changed hands once more, this time selling for nearly $1 million. That's right, a car he once restored with his own team had doubled in value. It was a clear sign that the work Collins puts into his vehicles doesn't just turn heads. It builds value. Dennis Collins isn't just flipping cars, he's making history with them. Whether it's owning hundreds of Healeys, restoring a Nash Healey to near perfection, or setting records with Fox body Mustangs, his touch turns every vehicle into a story worth telling. His garage might be full of rare machines, but it's his passion, precision, and personal connection to each car that sets him apart. Collins doesn't just drive cars, he builds legacies. At the end of it all, what was found in his garage after Fast and Loud was not just cars, not just engines or chrome. They found purpose, they found heart, they found a man obsessed with saving something that mattered, a rare piece of automotive history that nearly faded away. And here's the wild part, he's still looking. If you know where a Nash Healey is, even if it hasn't moved in 50 years, Collins wants to know. Because to him, every single one is a story worth saving.